Because I do this, I'm happy to sign this, but I do it at some personal cost, because for many years now I've run a small travel agency specialising in libel tourism. Hotel bookings, airport transfers, just guys who come in from Iceland or using Ukraine, don't know the lie of the land. I'm happy to sacrifice that. Speaking as a performer about who has been robust to many companies and their products and their services over the years, not realising that the libel laws, which were initially set up to protect the reputation of individuals at a time when companies weren't the entities that they are now, are being used by companies essentially to quash dissent and to destroy criticism. And that's the major problem, obviously, for a lot of this now. So the companies can basically bully people out of saying bad things about their products and services. And on the other hand, of course, the major public order, public interest problem, which is, of course, when we're discussing dubious medical practices, or indeed whether a vitamin pill can cure AIDS, or whether spinal manipulation is good for your child, whether these can be discussed, and they can't simply because a libel writ can be stamped against it. That is something that has to be stopped, and it's getting ridiculous at this stage. So I'm more than happy to find this.
From a brilliant letter by Dick Taverne, who, as many of you know, established sense about science, which he published in Nature in the summer. Because science rejects claims to truth based on authority and depends on criticism of established ideas, it is the enemy of autocracy. Because scientific knowledge is tentative and provisional, it is the enemy of dogma. Because it's the most effective way of learning about the physical world, it erodes superstition, ignorance and prejudice, which have been at the root of the denial of human rights throughout history. And that's why I feel there's an awful lot at stake behind the success of this petition, and why I'm delighted to be signing it.
That's the unpleasant experience of being sued by libel, and it was the thought that I risked losing everything, really. Just theoretically damaging somebody's reputation would have been cheaper if I'd stabbed the fucker. Couldn't go to Croydon or something, I risked losing, and I won the case, but I was still out of pocket, and it is absurd that for saying some words it can cost you everything sometimes.
For libel. So it was 18 months ago that I was sued for libel, and next February we're back at the Court of Appeal, and that Court of Appeal will be looking at the meaning of my article. So almost 2 years since the publication, we're still arguing over the meaning of some words. The case could go on for many more months, possibly years. And I've run up bills of 100,000, they've run up bills of 100,000. It just shouldn't cost so much time and energy and stress and distraction to settle these kind of matters. And it has this intimidating effect that Dara has already alluded to. Just to mention some of the other people that are being sued at the moment who aren't in the room. Peter Wilmshurst, the cardiologist, I think you may hear a bit more about him in a second. He's an example of this libel tourism issue. An English scientist gives an interview in America to a Canadian journalist for an American online magazine about an American company, ends up being sued back in London. If he loses, he will be bankrupted. He will lose everything. And then last year, a case that just sort of finished earlier this year, in fact, Ben Goldacre over the HIV claims related to vitamins, sued for libel. Now, that was a case that The Guardian won. So that's great news. Except The Guardian lost £175,000 in unrecovered costs. So winning means losing a year or two of your life and losing £175,000, which is why people just back off and settle. So my case was 18 months ago. It's going to go on for another 18 months. In the meantime, the wonderful thing is that we had a meeting back in Pendle's Oak, back in May. And Dave was there, and Armand was there, and Nick Cohn was there, and it was a small gang of people trying to cause a bit of a fuss. In the meantime, we didn't realise that Index and Penn were also making a fuss. We're now here today relaunching this campaign, and I'm hoping that in 18 months' time, with lots more signatories and support, things really will have changed. Thank you.
Thank you.